Jonah running from God. Jonah running from God. Now, yeah, this is a very spiritual message, and this is a very spiritual message, and this is not for everybody and all that stuff. But as I'm being led by the Spirit, you know, uh, God just had me, just I want to say just even more intuitive to, you know, Jonah, and I'm already knowing about him. I've been knowing about him, but God just took me, I want to say, into the realm of the Spirit with things concerning him, and he even led me to, just read certain things concerning even Jonah. And just overall, God is just expressing to me, though, by the Spirit, about Jonah, and just, some revelation concerning Jonah. And, once again, he led me to even read, different things, that took place concerning Jonah. And, as I'm being led by the Spirit, I mean, pretty much, Jonah, he was running from God. He was, and, see, the thing is, he was running from God in many ways, too. And it's very deep. So, as I'm being led by the Spirit, I mean, man, Jonah was pretty much running from God and what he was telling him to do concerning, I believe it's like the Ninevites or something in that, paraphrasing a little, but I think it's more or less, the Ninevites. And I think he was, in Nineveh or something in that nature. And, Jonah was just running from what God told him to do, as far as, pretty much reaching them and all this stuff. Jonah pretty much runs to another territory, and God pretty much is like, he's allowing it to a certain extent. But see, Jonah really was chosen by God too. And see, a lot of you are running. You're running from God too. But anyhow, too. And see, I don't have any parts in this stuff. I don't. I really don't. But anyhow, Jonah, was running from God and, God's presence too. He was running from that too as well. And see, this has to do with running from God too. And see, a lot of you people don't know about this stuff, but this stuff it's not a game. But, as I'm truly being led by the Spirit with this stuff, I mean, because I'm not reciting anything. God just led me to read, more concerning Jonah as well, and then I'm just flowing in the Spirit right now. That's what you gotta understand. But overall, Jonah was supposed to reach these particular people, and because God's seen certain wickedness concerning these certain people, and Jonah being chosen by God, God wanted to pretty much use Jonah to reach these people concerning his kingdom, and also reaching these certain people and individuals. And see, Jonah was not trying to do it, because it's like Jonah was pretty much, Jonah was looking at it like, these certain people were not worthy of God's forgiveness, pretty much. But see, no, God the Father, I keep telling you, people, God will show mercy to whom he shows mercy to, and God will use anybody. He will also, he will show mercy to whom he shows mercy to. And see, what you gotta understand is God is in the midst of like many, many things, and God is very, very diverse. But overall, God was, trying to use Jonah to reach these people. And, Jonah pretty much fled the scene and was running from God, and was running from God's presence concerning this matter, really. And, a lot of you are doing this too in many areas concerning what God is telling you to do, concerning souls you're supposed to reach for him, and also concerning your purpose. But you know, but yeah, I mean, Jonah, he was running from God, and yeah, pretty much, you know, God allows him to, do this to a certain extent, and then pretty much uses certain circumstances against Jonah, considering, the sea and certain circumstances of, I want to say certain weather conditions, you could say as well, God used to come up against Jonah and just slow him down. And then pretty much he does get trapped in the well and all this stuff. And see, this all this stuff is spiritual, and spiritual reality. That's what you gotta understand. And God really did speak to the well, and caused Jonah to be spewed out from the well. But this is on a spiritual level. This is like a literal, spiritual, and symbolic all in one. And yeah, pretty much Jonah was trapped, 3 days, 3 nights, or something in that nature, And overall, I mean, he was just trapped because pretty much God was just somewhat really just punishing him because he still belonged to God. But see, God was pretty much displeased with Jonah because he did not want to reach these people. And see, that was really Jonah's purpose, Jonah. And it was, he had much more containing with his purpose outside of this too. But what I'm saying is that God, God pretty much spoke to Jonah, and Jonah heard God, and he just did not obey him. He was running from God's presence, and he was running from God overall concerning this circumstance. And see, a lot of you are doing that too. And see, you're going to be held accountable, and a lot of you will be held accountable on different measures, and some higher than others. And see, this stuff is not a game though, because he was trapped in the well and all this stuff, and overall, he was just pretty much just God was not allowing him to get so far. And then eventually, yeah, Jonah did obey after a certain timeline of things went by and all this other stuff that God pretty much, like I said, God, Jonah still had free will, of course, too. But see, things are just at limits with the stuff, too. And that's what you people don't understand. And see, this stuff is truly just going to go God's way, too. That's what you more or less got to understand, too, concerning the realm of the spirit and all this stuff. And I mean, yeah, overall, Jonah was just running from the presence of God, and he was running from what he was supposed to be doing, because he wasn't lost or anything. He heard God, and he just, Jonah's pretty much feeling like these people are not worthy of, God's forgiveness and all this stuff. But he's supposed to reach these certain individuals for God. And so, yeah, that's why God had to slow him down and all this deep stuff, and just use certain circumstances to slow him down. Like I said, certain weather conditions and all this other stuff. And see, overall, yeah, I mean, yeah, man. So he, Jonah got spewed out of the well, and by God, and God allowed Jonah, he's basically, God spoke to Jonah, another time concerning, the same thing. And see, that's the thing about this stuff too. If you don't do what God is calling you to do, you're just only cursing yourself, and you're just delaying things concerning everything concerning you. Your blessings, promises, different things will just be withheld from you concerning heaven, for you people who are called by God and chosen by God. But this is not for everybody. There's certain people, you're still picked out to go to hell and be a part of hell. And see, this is not for you. But this is overall just for people who belong to God and, are chosen by God too. It's still going to go God's way. That's what you got to understand, regardless of, the free will you have in certain things. You are, God will, somewhat let you just kind of do, but there's still limits, and you're still gonna reap what you sow and all this stuff. So it's limits to that stuff. And overall, it's just gonna go God's way, because God knows best. I do not agree with God on everything. Once again, I'm very transparent about that, but overall, it's gonna go His way. So that's what you gotta understand. And yeah, mellow speaking, I am glad it's going His way. Because He knows everything. He knows what's best and all this stuff too. But yeah, with all that being said, yeah, if you keep running, you're done.